Right.
So, first one, the AI. Let's see, AI versus training a human. Here we go.
Things that is always unfair in this comparison is people talk about how much energy it takes to train an AI model relative to how much it costs a human to do one
What are you trying to
inference
say?
query. But it also
Yeah.
takes a lot of energy to train a human. It takes like 20 years of life and all of the food you eat during that time before you get smart. And not only that, it took like the very widespread evolution of the 100 billion people that have ever lived and learned not to get eaten by predators and learned how to like figure out science and whatever to produce you, and then you took whatever you took. So the fair comparison is if you ask ChatGPT a question, how much energy does it take once it's model is trained to answer
That's
that
an
question?
interesting take.
Yeah, in a way, I understand because if you train your AI model, it takes away that training because you're going to that person that has that 20
But
years of experience. So go ahead. I know you want to counter.
So it's kind of like comparing like, hey, a bullet kills a person quicker than a knife. I don't know. I mean, why are we comparing like, even humans? I mean, ChatGPT is to benefit humans.
It's a different form of energy too, right?
Right.
When you're looking at it, you're going, okay, what's it take to make a human life and develop that person and get them educated, take them to school?
And plus, all the generations and of human input in this whole, and their input to build all this, right?
But
So
but you also have that too. We have the energy for the children that are still here and the people, and then now you're adding also the energy. So we're basically saying we're doubling the amount of people on Earth. Then is kind of what he's saying by having to use all this energy then to form and create answers.
I don't know. I don't
LLMs.
agree. Yeah, I don't agree with the whole comparison. Like, human takes us. It's like, what your point is? Like, we need less humans and more ChatGPT. I mean, what are you trying to say? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
and that's the guy running it.
Well, I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Then. So this may help with the conversation. So AI human comparison, which he's doing, is it just a marketing language, making the technology easier to sell? Is that what he's doing?
I don't know. I think there's more to it. I don't know. I don't like the whole line of conversation that led to, and how quickly he had that answer. So what is the conversation behind that? The whole thinking that went on somewhere else, that where they did the study or where they even made that comparison. I mean, there's a more to it. So I'm thinking I don't think it's just some people laughing. To me, I don't think it's a laughing matter at all. I think it's some serious conversation that went behind that one line.
Well, and it's also a way that they need to justify then
exactly
the energy consumption that it takes to produce these AI models and structure.
And I get it. If the conversation led to like, hey, we're working on to even more energy efficient, and we're working on to how we can train these models even using less energy. If the conversation led to that would have been great. But comparing it to the human, and no, I do not agree with that, and I do not support that comparison at all.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting take. I think, Raul, when you put it into so many times we've talked about energy and how much this stuff costs. I mean, and all these companies that are needing to build this amount of money to then grow AI even bigger. I mean, I think, we've kind of mentioned it now in the past. You have, these companies that just want to start collecting more and more money and it's going to cost more and more energy to make. I mean, don't you think at some point this is kind of their justification? Like,
Well,
how do they get there? Like, we have to justify this somehow. Well, for you guys, it takes this much energy to produce a human. Here, we take less technically, right? They have to justify this somehow.
Well, that's why I think it's kind of more of a selling approach, because you got to sell this idea, this technology.
You got to sell the energy consumption.
Yeah, well, that's part of it. But, here's something I never really thought about. But, well, obviously AI takes this data, uses that information, able to pop up the answer pretty quickly. but is it able to really create something new like a human can?
That's what I'm saying. Is like the comparison is just to me it's uncalled for, unrealistic,
Yeah.
anything you could put on it that is not the correct comparison between human and
Machine.
yeah. I mean, it's machine that's built by human, and it took thousands of years to human to get here to build that building and have that plastic and have that computer system and so on to build that's getting built to for that AI. Humans build that. So if human haven't spent all that energy,
So
they would have lived. Sorry, if they would have lived in caves, we wouldn't been like they would have just kept on living caves and killing animals and eating.
you're for it. I'm sorry, you're against this idea, right? You're selling
I'm
this-
just against the idea
Keegan,
of comparison.
Play the opposite role.
I mean, yeah, no, I think
play the opposite
I see
role.
why
Argue.
no, that's what I'm saying. I see why they see that as well. It's technically less energy because if you ask it to do a simple math problem, or even a complex math problem, I guess is a better example. A child knows 2 + 2 is 4, but start getting into advanced physics and algebra and different kinds of science. You got to go to school for that. For maybe you get a degree. So then you look at it and you see, okay, well, this thing just spit out my answer in a tenth of a second, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of their justification of it. Well, but then also you look at it and go, okay, well, from an energy consumption, we talk about this almost on every episode. Like it's still a lot for them to get to that point to get the answer.
And it's just more than energy. I mean, energy is one part of it. There's a whole environmental impact. So there's I mean, we cannot just
Well, we have one going on here sort of locally that the community's sort of fighting back because of the
all of
worries
it.
about
all the
energy
places, the community
consumption
is fighting
and
back all this.
increased electrical rates and things like that.
And they already went up. A lot of places, the electrical rates.
They just got approved here in the state for 10% increase.
Yeah. So
Well, I thought it was 4%.
no,
I think
I thought it was 10, but
yeah,
I think they were pushing for 10. I thought it was 4.
yeah.
But yeah,
I
still-
know every year they ask for like 120% or more,
Yeah.
allegedly, and then they either decline or allow it, and then they probably negotiate.
yeah. Well, just to conclude this, I think, I mean, scientifically, you can make all the comparisons you want. Yes, numbers may make sense, but if you look at it holistically,
Yeah. You got to be careful, basically, when you start comparing people to machines.
yeah, you got to be not
It's
just
going to be a
careful.
sensitive topic.
Yeah, I mean, to get your opposition to your whatever you trying to prove, that's a really easy way to do that. Is start comparing it to the whole human energy and what have humans accomplished so far to get here.
And especially when we start looking at potential job loss, right?
Yeah.
This thing now then I'm training it now, but it could be taking my job in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. Very true. Hope you guys like the breakdown of real technology versus hype. Please like, subscribe.